Hey friend, welcome to the Badass is the New Black podcast, where our motto is done is better than perfect. I'm Chrissy Chin, here on a mission to help you grow your business online, turn your leads into lifelong customers, and scale to six figures and beyond so you can work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more. Most importantly, I'm a laid-back wife, a mom, a friend who started as a peds nurse turned network marketer, and now a serial entrepreneur. This podcast is for ambitious people with an idea, a vision, but no idea how to get there. On this podcast, I'll give actionable steps to keep you moving forward while you learn new business strategies, better systems and processes, marketing, sales, all the things you need to build and scale a blissful business that keeps your pocketbooks growing. Grab a beverage, open up your notes app, and let's get to it. I have an insanely valuable and exciting episode for you today. It's actually an old training that I pulled that's still incredibly relevant. This season, we've started this season off with mindset training, really talking a lot about mindset. I've introduced you to my friend Brad, who's a mindset master. He's a high performance coach. He's a personal development expert. I invited you to his 10-day training. Hopefully you participated. And then today is actually, by the time you probably listen to this, it might be over, but his Success GPS webinar. So hopefully you've been listening and you got invited to that as well. And today he opens the doors to Appreciation Academy. And I want to invite you to take a look at that. I'll leave the link in the show notes, but I wanted to continue today with some mindset training and talking about mindset, because this really is the foundation of everything that you do. And you need to have a solid foundation on your mindset so that you can build everything on top of it. So you can learn the strategies that I teach and the tech that I teach so that you can actually turn your business into a real successful business that you can scale online. And so today's training or episode is a training, again, that you can't get anywhere else. And we're going to talk about having the $1 million mindset. Okay, because this really is the mindset, the key things that I realized that I had and pulled out to highlight here. If you have a mindset like this and you think like this, you are way more likely to be successful, to build that $1 million business. And so I'm going to switch over here in a second and just show you that training. Again, it's super, super relevant to right now, to today, for you and your business. I want you to take a listen. And then if you want more on mindset and you want more from Brad, I want you to take a look in the show notes for Appreciation Academy. Take a look at that. Highly, highly recommend it. Getting in there and taking advantage of the program that he created. It's helped thousands of network marketers and coaches, come out of fear that they've been having, helping them get unstuck, helping them learn how to speed up their success because their mind was stopping them from moving forward in their business and even in their life. I notice that whenever I'm focusing on mindset for business, I see these real life benefits that help me. I get to have a better relationship with my kids and with my husband, and these things that I'm learning to implement in my business are actually helping in my personal life and vice versa. So super important to focus on mindset. Let's dive into the training. And then when you're done, don't forget to click the link below. If you're watching on YouTube, there will be a link for Appreciation Academy below there. I've got some bonus trainings for you as well. So in the show notes of this episode, if you decide to go forward with Appreciation Academy with my special referral link, I have some bonus trainings, offerings for you, and I'll be sharing those in the show notes. All right, let's dive into the training. Let's talk about having an entrepreneur's mindset. There are certain aspects about how entrepreneurs think that serve them really well in building their business. And I'm going to go through my top 8 entrepreneurial mindsets that have really served me well and I know will be really helpful for you to embrace. All right, so number 1, don't give your power away. The second you stop being yourself, you give your power away. The second you don't post something on social media because you might offend your mother-in-law or your coworker, you have given your power away. The second you doubt yourself because you read that nasty comment on your Instagram post, you have given your power away. I shared a really vulnerable post on social media a little while back, and it was a split image. Your image is supposed to grab your audience's attention. So it was a split image. On one side, it was me and at that time, I think he was like 3 weeks old. My little guy snuggled up on my shoulder, and I was giving a little smile. And on the other side, it was me, more current in my life. I had my podcast headphones on. I'm in my office and I'm smiling. And on the side where I was holding my infant, it said, feeling lost. And on the other side where I was super happy and excited, it said, loving life. And in the post, I shared about how I felt really lost as a new mom, how I didn't know who I was anymore, and I felt like I had to rediscover myself in this new phase of life. And I encouraged those who felt the same as me to rediscover themselves and to pursue things that really mattered to them, that their life didn't have to stop because they found themselves in this new phase of motherhood. And I didn't say any of that to offend anyone. That was how I felt at the time, and a story that I felt like I could share and help someone else who was feeling a little lost in that same position. And I received a comment on that post that felt a little attacking, a little judgmental, that I was not embracing my new baby and that I was blaming my little baby for losing myself. And in that moment, I could have gotten really angry. I could have felt really defeated that this woman did not like what I had to say. I could have let what she said prevent me from sharing other valuable stories for fear of offending someone. And if I were to do that, I would have given her power over me. But I don't want to give her that power over me. It was really hard for me to share that story, as I knew that some people wouldn't necessarily agree with me. But it was the truth of what I was going through. And if I let that woman take my power away from me by not continuing to share my stories for fear of offending someone, then I can't help the people that I was put on this earth to help. So that's my number one tip. Be in your mindset. Do not let others take your power away. Number 2, trust yourself. So you are going to have a lot of decisions to make in your business, and it's imperative that you trust yourself and make those decisions. A few months back, I was sitting in my office chair like I am right now in my beautiful office around me. The sun was shining down through the skylights, yet I was falling to pieces inside. I was feeling so overwhelmed. I was trying to run and scale one business and start 2 more businesses, and I really started second guessing myself in everything that I was doing. And I was thinking, like, is this how it should be during a launch? Is this even a good idea for a launch? Is this a good idea for a topic to teach on? Should I be hiring this part out? Is this a good person to hire? And I 100% stopped trusting myself and caused this flood of second guessing that threw me into a heap of overwhelm. And I literally just froze in my space right here, literally right here, for probably about 2 weeks. I was working, I was doing the things, I was getting on my computer, I was creating content and all of the things, but I wasn't really making any progress. I was a little bit frozen and stuck. And I asked myself, why aren't you trusting yourself right now? And I realized that I was scared. And I flipped this switch in my mind and I just said, all right, Chrissy, it's time to trust yourself. And I went to that validation tool and I said, all right, let's look for some validation that tells me that I can be trusted. All right, I've built $1 million business. I've hired people before. I've hired good people before. I've hired people that didn't end up working out. And guess what? My business didn't crumble to the ground. Those things validated that I can make decisions, that I can make the right decisions. And if I make the wrong decisions, that my business won't burn to the ground. Worst case scenario, it doesn't go as I anticipate and I learn and I do better next time, right? And boom, just like that, I made the conscious decision to not let my subconscious run in this moment. And I hired a copywriter. I got my email funnel started. I set up my masterclass. I created a launch schedule for myself. And 2 weeks later, I launched build a blissful business. Something that I had been thinking about for months and was dragging my feet, second guessing everything I was doing because I wasn't trusting in myself. And the second I switched my mindset and trusted myself, I took off again. Number 3, see failure differently than everyone else. The definition of failure is lack of success. Now, the definition of success is the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. So technically, if you set a goal and you don't hit it, then you fail, right? So you aim to make $5,000 a month and you don't. You fail. You did not hit what you were aiming at, and therefore you did not have success, and therefore you failed. So the definition of failure was not working for me. So I redefined it. I decided to look at failure differently than everyone else. The key to setting new definitions in order to change mindset is to make it really, really, really hard to ever feel or encounter it. All right, I'm going to give you an example. So for example, if I lived by the definition of failure as lack of success, then I would feel failure a lot. I set a lot of goals for myself. I set high goals, and I actually rarely hit my goals because I set them so high. But I redefine failure to be anytime I don't learn something from lack of success. So literally every time I fail, by real definition, I learn something new. And therefore, by my personal definition of failure is anytime I don't learn something from lack of success, I actually never fail because I always learn something. All I have to do to hit that goal is to say, what did you learn? And boom, I didn't fail. So when Claire, my sister, and I launched our first business together, Mind Body Elevate, taking you way back here, we had about 12 people sign up after our masterclass. We made a few $100s in revenue for that. And we didn't sign up nearly as many people as we wanted. And we didn't make nearly what we had wanted to on our first launch. And I could have let it feel like a giant fail and decide to not try anything ever again, right? To avoid that feeling of failure. But instead, I learned so much from that experience. I learned the power of having a list before launching is huge. I learned that my heart really wasn't in that business at the time. I learned that you can make something that you're passionate about and monetize on it. I learned that it takes a lot of work to grow something big, right? So even though we closed that business down, I don't count it as a failure because I learned so much from that experience. And I applied those things that I learned to build the next business, which ended up being $1 million business. So what is your definition of failure? On to number 4, be willing to take chances. So the ability to step outside your comfort zone and take chances is huge in entrepreneurship. I've taken hundreds of chances, and some don't move the needle very much, and others move the needle a lot. But if I'm not willing to take those chances, then I'll never have the opportunity to hit the winners and move that needle forward. So when I was building my network marketing business way back in the very beginning, I wanted a resource full of professionals from various industries that were using the products that I was selling as a network marketer. So I wanted teachers, chiropractors, nurses, hairstylists, massage therapists, you name it, I wanted them. So that when I spoke to or enrolled a professional in one of those industries, I could then point them to that resource and they could hear from someone in their industry about how to use and sell the products from someone else other than me. Because let's be honest, when you meet someone or hear someone in your industry talking, using your lingo, you trust them a lot more. You trust what's being said a lot more. My background is a nurse. When I meet other nurses, we have this instant bond. So when you meet someone in your industry, you have an instant bond with them. Since this resource did not exist, I took a chance and I decided to rally the troops and to create it myself. I said, all right, I'm just going to create this myself. I cold messaged a ton of professionals that were very successful in my network marketing company, and I asked them to participate. Had I not taken that chance and asked these top leaders to participate in this organized Facebook group, summit of a sort, Essential Oils for Professionals group wouldn't exist. And this group serves over 40,000 people, and it adds value to 40,000 lives. It also became a group that I could market my other business to. So Grow Workspace didn't exist at this time when I launched that group and held that event. But because it was my group that I organized and put together, I was able to leverage the community in there when we launched Grow Workspace. So had I not taken that chance to reach out to strangers and ask for help to make my dream resource a reality, I would not be where I am today. So be willing to take chances, because if you don't, you will never hit the wins, and you just don't know what those wins are going to turn into later. Number 5, embrace your creative mind and let it wander. So as entrepreneurs, our brain goes down some crazy rabbit holes if we let it. The best ideas come to me when I'm in the shower and when I'm laying in bed when everyone else is sleeping. And that can either be late at night or early in the morning. It just has to be quiet. So I realized that I think best during these times because it is so quiet, because I can actually hear myself think. I can hear my thoughts. There's not kids running around. We've got a lot of people in this house, my in-laws, now my brother-in-law, the kids. There's a lot of people around. And so even when I'm in my office and the door is closed, it can get loud and noisy and it can be hard to focus. So I was working on a productivity session with my high performance coach. And I expressed that it takes me a little while to get into the flow of something when I'm working on a project. And so we were discussing when I find it easiest to slip into that flow state where the ideas are just flowing and the content is just being created and it's coming easily and naturally. And that puts me into a place where I'm super productive. And I realized it's in those quiet moments late at night, or those moments in the shower where I'm just by myself, just thinking. And so I decided that if there are evenings, I'm not just going to go take a shower and waste a bunch of water, right? But I was like, all right, let's leverage these evenings where my mind is flowing. And so I decided that if there's an evening where I'm not very tired, but everyone else is tired and going to sleep, I will stay up and I will let myself flip into that flow and let that creation happen. And I won't feel bad about staying up till 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning and then sleeping in, because the reality is I got more done that night than I probably would have in that 2 extra hours of sleeping in. So if I know that I don't need to get up early and I can stay up late, I'll make sure to write down those thoughts that are running through my head so that I don't forget them in the morning. If I do have to get up in the morning and I can't stay up and go down to my office and kind of flush things out, then I will definitely make sure to have something by my bedside, whether it's a pad of paper or my phone easily accessible so I can grab it, jot the idea down, write it down, and then close it so I can go to sleep. And then in the morning, I'll open that up and I'll be able to get back into flow a little bit easier. So once I started embracing the times that my mind is creative and allowed me to get into that flow more quickly, I found that I was a lot more productive. Number 6, be willing to look dumber than everyone else. So if you're taking chances, if you're trusting yourself and being your own teacher, you're just bound to do a giant belly smacker right on your face, right? And if you're willing to look dumber than everyone else, you will go farther than everyone else. So my first Facebook Live, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to engage with the audience. Physically, I looked like a hot mess, but the reason I hit go live was because I was willing to look bad in order to get better. I kept doing lives, and one day I just sat down to record a quick video teaching. At this time, I was teaching other moms how to use their oils with their kids. And I was, I think 3 months postpartum. My boobs were like these giant mini basketballs. I had no makeup on. I hadn't showered in days. So like greasy hair pulled back, glasses on, big giant sweater trying to hide all the things. And again, I didn't really know what I was doing. And that video got shared I think it was over 70 times, and it got viewed like 3,000 times, which at the time was huge for me. Um, and I was absolutely mortified because I looked horrible, but I finally did a video that people cared about. And if I had not been willing to look dumb for the first 50 videos, I would have never done that one and got so much attention. And that video really sparked my desire to do more, and do better. All right, number 7, we're getting close to the end here. Become your own teacher. So when you start your business, there's a lot to learn. And while you have me as a teacher, good move on your part. And by the way, I 100% believe that coaches or having multiple coaches on specific topics of what you need is a must-have. I do think that having the mindset to be your own teacher can really go a long way though as well. So when you experience something new, take time to reflect and teach yourself what you learned. When you don't have someone to teach you, take that chance and push the buttons to teach yourself those new skills. So when Claire and I started one of the businesses, we didn't know what we were doing at all. When we started Mind Body Elevate, we did not know what we were doing. We both had to go out there and we had to teach ourselves how to put together a website, how to upload content, how to add payment processing system. And we taught ourselves how to do a lot of it because we didn't have formal training. So be willing to take the time to teach yourself. Now, on the flip side, we're getting to the last one, which is number 8, be coachable and ask why. So while you should be a great teacher for yourself, it's also important to be coachable. Oftentimes we can get set in our ways. We've done it for one way for so long, and we think that that's definitely surely the way that it must be done, right? Because I've been doing it that way forever. But what if it isn't? What if it isn't the right way or the more efficient way? If you have a closed mind that doesn't let anyone teach you anything new, then you will limit your ability to grow in many, many ways. So I have someone in my life that no matter how much advice or tips I give them, even if I'm sharing personal stories of like, this is what worked for me and maybe that would work for you, they never change what they're doing. And they have been stuck in the same spot for years. They're not coachable. And they just keep doing the same things their way, how they want. And they feel like they're just there because they are just there. They're not moving forward. So I joined a mastermind group this year, and there are so many reasons that I could avoid being coachable, right? I have a thriving business, and so I know better than everyone else. I have these methods that have worked, so why change the methods? But the reality is that while my methods might work, there could be something out there that's more efficient and more effective. And if I'm too close-minded to explore what my teacher has to teach me, then I'll find myself getting stuck at some point. It's inevitable. So I always stay open to what others are saying. And if I don't agree with what they're saying, then I ask more why questions. Like, why don't I agree? Or why do I think that my way is better? Or why is their way going to be more helpful? So these questions really help me flush out what I might be missing and allow me to explore that there may be new ways to improve. No matter how long you've been doing something or how right you think you are, being coachable and asking the why questions will take you further. So take some time to assess and reassess often if you're living in an entrepreneur's mindset. And if not, ask yourself how you can shift into this mindset more on a regular basis. I hope that you enjoyed that training. I know these are the things that I continuously focus on to improve. And sometimes we can get stuck in these old habits and kind of revert back. And so I'm always trying to make sure that I'm living in this mindset, in this $1 million entrepreneurial mindset, and tackling my business with this mindset and approaching my life with this mindset. And so I want to remind you that I am inviting you to my friend Brad's Appreciation Academy. And he's a high performance coach. He's a personal development expert. He's helped thousands upon thousands of network marketers, coaches, small business owners to really get a handle on their mindset and step by step training you how to reprogram your mind so it becomes a lot more intuitive for you to think in this way to where you can be successful. You can get out of your own way. You can push those fears aside that you're having and those doubts that you're having that you're not enough and the fear of rejection and whatever it is that you're holding on to and it's standing in your way. His Appreciation Academy is going to help you reprogram step by step so that you can get out of your own way. You can adapt these new methods and you can have the solid foundation in your mindset so you really can build and scale your business to 6 figures, multi 6 figures, 7 figures, multi 7 figures, whatever it is that your big dream and goal is. So go ahead and use that link below this video, whether you're in the YouTube or that'll be in the description or you're on the show notes. In the show notes, you can also see the big bonus that we are offering in addition to what Brad is offering in Appreciation Academy if you decide to move forward with him and go on that journey in Appreciation Academy. So find that link below, see all of our bonuses, and we can't wait to see you inside Appreciation Academy. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you got some value out of this episode, I would love some support. And the best way to do that so I can keep showering you with loads of actionable tips is to hit that subscribe button. Leave a review or a comment if you're on YouTube and share this podcast with a friend. And when you share it with a friend on social, please tag me so I can reshare your share in my stories. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out. I appreciate the heck out of you for showing up. And now it's time for you to take imperfect action so you can work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more.